Amateur Traveler is in its 20th year now, but can you imagine if I had people on the show who had never been to the destination, but had just read about it or seen a movie about it? That wouldn't make any sense at all, and you wouldn't listen. We all know how important it is to receive advice from people who know a destination to get the most authentic local experience. And a great option for experiencing this is Explore Worldwide and their authentic small group adventures, led by local tour leaders, perfect for solo travelers who want to meet like minded people with a desire for adventure. I'm often an independent traveler, but two of my last three trips were with small group tours because they organize everything and it's a lot easier. If you want to recreate the tour I did to Malta, they have a Malta and Gozo Discovery Tour. I'm intrigued by one of their tours called A Taste of Sicily. The company again is Explore Worldwide, and visit exploreworldwide.com to learn more. And thanks to Explore Worldwide for sponsoring this episode of Amateur Traveler. The nights are long, the days are short, and the weather is chilly to downright cold, depending on where you are. It's a good time to slip into a Quince iconic Mongolian cashmere sweaters, which start at only $50. You can treat yourself to everyday luxury at an affordable price with Quince. If you really want to dive into luxury, you can check out their leather handbags, washable silk shirts, and European linen sheet sets. Whatever you're looking for at Quince, all the prices are 50 to 80% less than similar brands, and they do that by partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the middleman. They only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing processes. And of course, they use premium fabrics and finishes for that luxury feel in every piece. But you've already heard me rave about my Quince travel pants. Treat yourself this winter without the luxury price tag. Go to quince.com/traveler for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/traveler to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/traveler. And thanks to Quince for sponsoring this episode of Amateur Traveler. This episode of Amateur Traveler is sponsored by DK Eyewitness Travel Guides. These colorful guidebooks are filled with great information and are one of my favorite guidebooks. I have 25 of them right here on my bookshelf. Learn more at dk.com.
I got my bags packed, I'm on a roll. I'm heading out there and I'm ready to go. I'm looking real good in my passport photo.
Amateur Traveler, episode 470. Today, the Amateur Traveler talks about the second biggest port in Europe, a former member of the Hanseatic League, a city of bridges, and the place where the Beatles got their first break, as we go to Hamburg, Germany.
I should be heading home, but maybe not today.
Welcome to the Amateur Traveler. I'm your host, Chris Christensen. We'll be talking more about our sponsor in a bit, but first, let's talk about Hamburg. I'd like to welcome to the show Romy Mlinzk, who is coming to us from snoopsmouse.de, mouse spelled the German way. And Romy is a travel blogger from Germany in German, come to talk to us about Hamburg, Germany. Romy, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
You're just talking to me. There's nobody else listening. Excellent.
Maybe later.
Let's put Hamburg on the map for people. We're in the northern part of Germany.
That's right. It's really up in the north.
In what region? I don't know the actual region name there.
It's a city-state, so
Okay.
it's Hamburg, just Hamburg.
Second biggest city in Germany and the largest port in Germany.
Yeah, and the second largest port in Europe. So it's a quite big city.
After Rotterdam?
After Rotterdam.
Okay,
That's
excellent.
correct.
So why should someone go to Hamburg?
Because it's totally different to the biggest city in Germany, Berlin. And Berlin is a booming city for tourism at the moment. And Hamburg has a lot of different things to offer. It's close to the water. You have this maritime flair, and you have more bridges than Venice and Amsterdam together. So it's really fascinating walking down the streets and the canals and between the River Elbe and the Alster. It's another river, but it's more like a lake in the city. So you have a lot of water sites, and you don't feel like in a big city. It's more like relaxing, maritime flair, and nice people.
Now, my impression, and tell me if I am just completely off base, is that if we were talking about Hamburg maybe 20 years ago, possibly even more recently than that, we'd be talking about more of a, I want to say industrial city, but commercial city, known more for its red light district than its tourism, but that it's changed quite a lot over the last few years, few decades. Am I on the right track?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
That's right. A lot of things changed, and now Hamburg is more like a fashion and media city. So I have a lot of cool young people coming to the town, and a lot of agencies, communication agencies, media agencies. You have TV, and this is more now. The bigger part of the city than the red light district. The red light district is very touristic at the moment, and nothing really special anymore, in my opinion.
You say nothing really special anymore. It used to be special, but
Yes.
you don't really recommend people go there now.
Yes, I recommend it, but not at night. Just
Okay.
have a look at the daylight and compare it to the old times and to old photos, and you see the difference. At night, it's full of drunk tourists and drunk young people because it's still cheap to be there at night for some drinks or for party, but it's really crowded, especially at the weekend. So you have problems to get from A to B within a couple of minutes because it's so full of people and so crowded. So, yeah, so much drunk people, and you will not find local.
Okay. Let's talk then about what you would recommend. So where would we start and how would we tackle Hamburg?
Where to start? There's so much to see and so much to discover. First of all, we have the harbor. The harbor is really a huge part of the city, and you can't miss it. There's the Landungsbrücken, so it's like where all the ferries starts and stops.
And the ferries are going out to some of the islands off the coast? Or are these the ferries off to other countries?
Oh no, it's just city ferries.
Okay. I guess I don't have a good mental map of what the city looks like if you need so many ferries. So give me a little more of a description of how the city's laid out then.
Okay, you have a huge part in the north of the River Elbe. So this is the main area where people live.
Okay.
But you have another part on the other side of the Elbe River, and there's a lot of industry, the main part of the harbor, so the industrial part of the harbor. But there are small districts where people still live. It's a huge city, so you have to imagine 2 million people live in Hamburg, all along the river, so to say. And the ferry is going from the east to the west and from one side to the other side. So
Got it. Okay. So it's part of the public transportation system in the city.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's what this transportation system I would totally recommend, because it's part of the other public transportation system. So you only need your day pass or your ticket for the normal subway, and you can hop on and hop off the ferry as well and use it as a subway thingy, so to say. And you don't need the higher or the more expensive ferry trips, or no, not ferry trips. How do you call it? So you can book trips to discover the river on your own.
So sightseeing tours of the river.
Sightseeing tour, exactly.
But you're recommending the public ferry will give us a lot of the same views, but at the price of a subway.
Exactly. It's much cheaper.
Okay, excellent. This is like going to New York City and taking the Staten Island ferry. Okay, got it. Trust me.
Okay.
That wasn't for you. That was addressed at our audience there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're starting. In fact, maybe we're starting on one of the ferries and getting a view of the city as we cross over the river. And then what are we doing next?
We have this old part of the harbor. It's called Speicherstadt. So it's full of old buildings, brick buildings, where tea and coffee and stuff like that were stored in the early harbor days. And now it's a huge part of the city with old houses, and a lot of museums are in it right now. And the world famous, I guess, miniature wonderland. So some people thought it would be a nice idea to have a miniature world within one of these old houses. So you can travel the world within one of these storages at the Speicherstadt. It's really, really famous. You have little trains and little airplanes and cars, self-driving, and you can discover Europe and the Alps and Hamburg and everything else. So you can
So
go
this
to
sounds like one of those places that's really touristy, but you're saying get over it. It's still a fun thing to do.
Exactly. But not on Sunday or Saturday mornings.
Got it.
It's
Okay.
really crowded. But it's fun, especially if the weather is not so good. So sometimes it can happen that Hamburg is rainy, and we call it the Hamburg sun. So because
Hamburg sun is the rain. We're in northern Germany where gray skies are not
Exactly.
uncommon. Okay, got it. And you mentioned this old part of the harbor here where we are. So this would have been one of the original Hanseatic cities, the trading cities around the Baltic and the North Sea. So it's going back to that time to what, the 1700s or something like that.
maybe a little bit later, but it's part of the system and part of the identity of the Hanseatic cities. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
So
I guessed wrong. It joins the Hanseatic League in 1189, so I put it way too late. Okay,
okay,
but a lot of the
didn't know
buildings,
it.
but a lot of the buildings are probably not from that far back. Okay, excellent.
What else can you do? You can go under the Elbe. That's really special. We have an old tunnel. It's the old Elbe tunnel, and it's still used to get from one side to the other side. And it's, I guess, 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers. I guess it's less than a mile.
It's a pedestrian tunnel, or
It's now pedestrian and sometimes open for cars, but cars have to pay, pedestrians and bicycles not.
okay,
So you can cross the Elbe, and it's full of old wooden elevators. So you get into the elevator with your car or your bicycle, and then you get down and drive out of it under the Elbe and get back to the elevator on the other side. And as a pedestrian, you can choose the elevator too, or you can walk down.
okay,
And it's really, really interesting architecture. I guess it's from around 1900, 1905,
okay.
something like that. It's more than 100 years old now. And it's renovated, and a very nice thing to get another view of the skyline. Because on the other side of the Elbe Tunnel, you have like a sightseeing platform
Okay.
and have a perfect view to the main city, so to say, with the skyline and with the new buildings, with the skyscrapers. We have some, but smaller ones than New York.
Okay. Excellent. Let's take a break here and hear from our sponsor, who is DK Eyewitness Travel Guides. You've heard me talk about these colorful guidebooks and their diagrams and maps and cutaway views. The other thing that I like about them is I was looking up in a Mexico guide for the Sea of Cortez, and you'll find out more why in a couple weeks. And I found in the Eyewitness Travel Mexico guide a 1-week guide to northern Mexico that included the Sea of Cortez, and it's a day-by-day recommendation of what you should do in that area. And they have one for central Mexico and 2 days in Mexico City. For some of us who are doing travel planning, I find it very convenient sometimes to have those kind of recommendations of, on your second day while you're whale watching, which is the reason we would go down there, you should also check out this nearby cave with cave paintings, or the nearby church that was designed by Pierre Eiffel of Eiffel Tower fame. So that's the kind of things that I find handy. And then they put all of those itineraries on a color-coded map of Mexico. You can get your own DK Eyewitness Travel Guide from dk.com. Where to next? Any particular cultural things you would recommend? Museums, places where we can hear music? What is Hamburg known for?
Hamburg has a good singer-songwriter community. If you get to Hamburg, you can go to the museums, of course. Yeah, there's the Maritime Museum, and you can go to totally different museums, but I guess the music scene is much more interesting.
Okay. And what's what's our entrance to the music scene? Where would you recommend we go?
Okay, then we have to go back to the red light district now.
You were the one
at the
who told me we
Reeperbahn.
shouldn't go. So
Yeah, not as a sightseeing thing,
okay.
but if you really like good music, the Reeperbahn still has the old clubs or some of the old clubs where the Beatles
Right, sure.
played in the 60s, and you can book a really nice Beatles tour to discover more of the places where the Beatles met each other and played, and where they start their career, because Hamburg was the original city where they start their career, not Liverpool.
Right. Or at least where they started to take off, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing every single night for quite a while.
Exactly. And there's a Beatles tour from a German musician. She is singing a lot of own songs and a lot of Beatles songs during the tour. So this is quite fun.
What's the name of that tour?
It's just a Beatles tour.
Just the Beatles tour, okay.
Just look up Beatles tour Hamburg. You will find it.
Okay, excellent.
And there's some nice little clubs still around, so you can't go wrong with it.
Such as your favorite little club would be?
It's a Mojo Club.
Okay.
The Mojo Club is a renewed club under the Reeperbahn number 1. So it's downstairs the Dancing Towers. Dancing Towers is a new famous skyscraper project, I guess, from Norman Foster.
Okay.
So outside there are some doors to go downstairs to the Mojo Club, and nice little place, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Where to next? Where do the locals hang out on the weekends?
Oh, that's the Schanzenviertel, the Schanzen district. Schanzenviertel was alternative district in the 70s and 80s, where all the punks and subculture people hang out, lived there. Mm-hmm. And now it's totally turning into the new fancy area, but you have a lot of cafes and bars, and you can sit outside in the sun and
when there's sun.
When there's sun, exactly. But
in the Hamburg sun.
Not really Hamburg sun. But that's really interesting. A lot of people think Hamburg is really rainy, but at the end we have less rain than Munich.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no one knows, but most people have this imagination, even in Germany. But if there is sun, real sun, go to the Schanzen district, get a Galao, cafe latte or milk coffee, how do you call it? But a lot of Portuguesian cafes are there.
Oh, interesting, okay.
So you get Galao, the Portuguesian version of cafe latte.
Okay.
And you will meet definitely a lot of locals, some musicians, artists, agency people hanging around.
And if we were interested in connecting with the art scene, is that where we would find galleries, or where would we go for that?
You will find galleries, but also little designer shops, secondhand shops. It's an interesting mixture of new and old, of alternative and modern. So, yeah, you will find galleries, but you will also find the alternative people still fighting for their rights, fighting against capitalism. I'm sorry.
Okay, so since this was where the counterculture was, you're saying if there's a protest or something like that, it's more likely still to be in this neighborhood?
Sometimes, yeah. Okay. Especially 1st of May.
Sure.
The usually Berlin and Hamburg thing on 1st May is have a party with the police.
Have a party with the police. I think I might skip that one, but...
Yeah, okay, no problem.
And you were talking about cafes and restaurants. Is there something particularly... I mean, I think that people probably think they're going to get a hamburger in Hamburg, but I don't know that that's really what Hamburg is known for. What should we get at a restaurant to experience Hamburg? Okay,
there's a really cool place if you like meat. It's called the Bullerei. Bullerai. It's close to the subway station of Schanzen district. It's a cool place with a lot of good meat, really good meat. And you will find the typical German currywurst in
Okay.
it, but on a higher level. So it's if you really want to spend some money.
And I love that we're talking about something with curry in it as being typical German, but it is these days. It wouldn't have been
curry was
50 years ago or so, but yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Sounds weird, but it's a sausage
Right.
and with some curry and ketchup and stuff like that. But it's really a German thing now.
Oh, I've been taken out to eat currywurst by tourism boards in Germany. Yeah, it is very much a German thing now.
And there's still some fights between the western part of Germany, Hamburg, and Berlin, who invented this dish. And I'm not sure who's right or wrong, but Hamburg has a good currywurst, I promise.
Okay.
Next to the Bullerei, there's a nice coffee place called Elbgold. It's a roastery, is it right? So
I know what you're saying, yeah.
your coffee beans, freshly made at this place. It's called Elbgold. So the Elbe River is everywhere, so to say. And Elbgold is one of the best coffee places in town. And it's not so far away from this meat place, so to say, from the restaurant. And try the Indian coffee, it's really good.
Okay. Where's the prettiest part in Hamburg? If I said you were standing in the prettiest part, where are you standing? What are you looking at?
Everything is beautiful. Hamburg is not like Berlin, as I told you before. Hamburg is a really wealthy city, so a lot of money was in the city for ages now. And so you have really, really nice old houses from the beginning of the 20th century.
Okay.
So, everything is beautiful. So, but I recommend, I guess, Eimsbüttel. Eimsbüttel is full of these old houses, and no bombs and no modern
wasn't as near
architecture.
the port probably to be
Exactly,
damaged in
it's a
World
little
War
bit
II.
far.
Yeah. So where is that area?
It is more in the northwest of the city,
Got it.
but close to the city center. It's not so far away. I guess a lot of things you can do, within a walking distance. So Eimsbüttel is within the walking distance for me. I'm not sure about your Americans,
I'm
but
going to walk 5 miles today, so don't count me out.
okay. But there's a lot of subways, buses. You have a lot of car rentals. You can rent bikes, stuff like that. So it's easy to get there.
Okay, and what do you recommend for getting around? I usually, where at a big city like that, we don't recommend renting a car, but getting around with public transportation in your own 2 feet. What would you recommend for Hamburg?
They have a good bike rental system. So it's from the Deutsche Bahn.
The German railroad system.
The railway system, You don't know it maybe, but they have a lot of bikes in the city and they have different stations. And you only need an app on your smartphone.
Okay.
And you log into this, you have to set up an account and then you log into your account, go to the app, and then you can drive half an hour for free.
Oh,
and
excellent.
Half an hour is more than enough to get from A to B and to see more of the city. And I guess it's 8 euros a day or 9 euros a day.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty good. And they're really in a good condition. So the Deutsche Bahn is taking care of the bikes. Yeah, you will find a lot of stations, and the app shows you the next station where to rent a bike or to give it back. Easy like that.
Excellent. Now, I've been to Germany before. I haven't been to Hamburg, but I've been to Berlin and Dusseldorf and, a lot of the cities. What's going to surprise me when I come to Hamburg?
Beaches.
Okay.
Hamburg has beaches. So there's a famous Elbe beach where a lot of locals hang out and have some barbecue in the evening, meet some friends, bring some beer.
And this is on the north shore of the Elbe?
The north shore of the Elbe, but more in the west of the city. So
okay. North shore of the Elbe, but west of the city. Got it.
Exactly. So if you don't want to go to the Elbe beach, because it's a little bit outside of the city center, there are beach clubs in the city center. So the famous beach club is Beach Pauli, Strand Pauli in German. It's really close to the old Elbe tunnel I mentioned before. So if you come back from the Elbe tunnel, go to the Strand Pauli, get some cocktails, enjoy the wind and smell the river and see the big cruise ships and everything else. That's really amazing.
Okay, and it's a beach club, so we're renting a chair or something like that for the time that we're there.
It's like an outdoor restaurant or
Yeah,
an
okay.
outdoor bar. So you have some chairs and some sand. So
Okay.
it's really like to be on a beach, but yeah, it's not really the beach.
Okay.
But
Well,
you get some really good cocktails.
since you're talking about beach clubs, I have to ask, what's the best time of the year to come to Hamburg? What's your favorite season there?
Definitely May to September.
Okay.
It can be really hot in the summer, so 30, 35 degrees. But May, like today, I guess 20 degrees.
Okay.
Celsius, not
No,
Fahrenheit, I'm sorry.
I got that.
So at the moment, a lot of flowers are coming up, and it's really, really beautiful, really colorful. So Hamburg is full of parks, and Hamburg has a cemetery. It's the largest park cemetery in the world.
A
So you
cemetery.
have more than, yeah,
Okay.
okay, with graves and stuff like that.
Yep, that's I got you.
Okay. It's the world's largest park-like cemetery. And there are 2 bus lines going through it. And it don't feel like holy place. It's more like really a park, relaxing. You can walk for ages. And it's full of old trees and flowers. And yeah, it's really a beautiful place. If you like to have time on your own and just walk and enjoy the nature, this is a perfect place within the city.
Okay. Where's the city changing the most right now? We talked about the city changing over the years. What's the newest area that's really undergoing change?
The Hafen City. The Hafen City, it's harbor city in English.
Okay.
It's an old part of the harbor, which is not used as harbor or industrial harbor parts anymore. So they restructured it.
So the old
and
warehouses
now-
are turning into other things.
Exactly. There are a lot of new built houses and modern architecture. You find there a lot of small places to sit, and restaurants are coming up. Maybe you heard about the Elbphilharmonie.
I
It's
did
the
not.
new icon. The new icon. You will see it. I can send you a photo, maybe.
Okay.
It's
The
a
new icon of the
icon.
city. Okay.
It's a philharmonic house or a philharmonie.
Oh,
Or
okay.
will
A
be a
symphony
philharmonie.
house.
It's not,
Okay.
but it's not open yet. So we had some problems with a construction company.
So this is Hamburg's version of the Sydney Opera House being built on the river.
Kind of, yes,
Okay.
kind of. You will see it from every place in the city, I guess, because it was an old building where they store a lot of things, and only the basement of this building is used as a philharmonie basement, so to say, and then they build up like a ship thing. So if you see the Elbphilharmonie, it reminds you of a ship, a big ship,
Okay.
a huge ship. And like waves on the water, and you have a lot of glass on the outside. It has reflections of the water of the river because it's really close to the water.
Got it.
And it will not only be a philharmonie house or an opera house, there will be restaurants in it, some penthouses, a garage for all the cars.
Okay.
It will
Excellent.
be the new icon. No one is really happy with it because
They weren't happy with the Eiffel Tower at first either, so you might get used to it.
and it costs a lot of money.
Well,
and,
there's that. Now, we talked about what season to come. Is there a particular day or a festival that you really ought to be in Hamburg on that day?
In May, we have the Harbor Birthday. So
Okay.
it's 2 weeks ago. The Harbor Birthday, 825 years or stuff like that. Or something like that. At the end of August, there's the Ulster Festival. So around the Ulster, the other river of Hamburg, there are a lot of little shops and artists and fireworks. It's a 1 weekend festival just around the arts there to discover artists from Hamburg and to grab some street food, just have fun, enjoy the fireworks. It's really beautiful.
Excellent. So, anything else we should see in the city, and then any recommendations for what we should do just outside of Hamburg?
Did I recommend the Hagenbecks?
No, I don't believe you did.
Hagenbecks is a zoo, but it's a private zoo. And you have the chance to buy some food and feed the elephants, for example. And they have a lovely aquarium. It's really new. And it's like a small zoo, but really, really lovely because it's a private zoo. It's not supported by the state. So everything is bought from people who give money and pay the entry fee. It's really lovely and it's quite fun for families.
Excellent.
Especially feeding the elephants, of course.
And then while we're in Hamburg, are there side trips that you would recommend?
A side trip to Lübeck is...
The UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Exactly. It's only 45 minutes by train or 30 to 40 minutes by car. It's the UNESCO World Heritage Site or the nearest UNESCO World Heritage Site to Hamburg. And it's an old town, Hanseatic flair. You can see and learn the Hanseatic history in it because the old town is really like in the old days. And a lot of old ships are on the river. And yeah, you feel brought back 200 years ago with modern people in it. It's really lovely.
Excellent. In fact, we're probably getting a picture of what Hamburg would have been centuries ago before it continued to grow and be the big commercial port.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So another side trip is, of course, Berlin.
Well, sure.
We have a fast train track to Berlin, so you only have 1 hour and 40 minutes to get from Hamburg to Berlin, and the train is approximately at 250 kilometers per hour, so it's really fast. It's one of the fastest tracks in Germany.
Excellent.
One track is faster. It's from Cologne to Frankfurt with 300 kilometers per hour. So if you really like to drive fast and
well, if you like to
sit
drive
back
fast,
and
Germany
relax.
is the right place to go in any way.
Anyway, yeah. So by car it's 3 hours. By train it's 1 hour 40. So Berlin is a recommendation, but I guess if you only have a week and Hamburg has so much to offer, one day to Berlin is much, it's too less time.
Excellent. Before we go to wrap this up, anything else that we should know before we go to Hamburg? And then I've got 3 more questions for you. Best money-saving tip for Hamburg?
Hamburg is not a cheap city, but if you want to have a nice hotel with a good design, but not on a 5-star level, you go to the Price Hotel.
Okay.
It's designed from a famous New York designer. I forgot his name right now.
Okay.
But the price is more like a 3-star hotel, but the design is really cool. And it's a new hotel close to the main station. So I would recommend the Price Hotel with a Z in it.
Okay. With a Z in it. So Priz.
The last letter in
the last
the
letter
alphabet.
is Z. Yes. It's Z in American English and Z in British English.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and if you have to spend more money, or if you can spend more money, the 25 hours hotel in the Hafen City is a cool place to stay, especially for younger Americans, I guess. It's very designy, and Hafen City is a new upcoming booming district. I told about it before, and these 2 hotels I really love and I really recommend for a stay in Hamburg. But I'm not sure, 1 week can be really expensive, so we have a huge Airbnb scene, so you will find a lot of apartments and rooms via Airbnb as well. So maybe if you're traveling on a budget, then Airbnb would be a perfect solution. If you have more money, go to 25 hours hotel.
Excellent. Last 3 questions. One thing that makes you laugh and say only in Hamburg.
Only in Hamburg, everyone will say moin or moin moin to you instead of hi or hello or
Okay.
good morning.
This I do not know.
But moin is a term you will use in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, every time. So it's like hi.
Huh. Okay.
Can use it in Hamburg through the day and through the night.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but something special from Hamburg or North Germany. So everyone else would like to say, moin is only hello and good morning. But in Hamburg, you say it's a whole day.
Okay. Finish this sentence. You really know you're in Hamburg when what?
When you smell the water.
Ah, okay. And is that a good smell?
Yes.
Okay.
Good fishy smell, and then you know you have to drink some beer and get a fish roll.
Ah, okay. Excellent. And last question, if you had to summarize Hamburg in just 3 words, what 3 words would you use?
Water is really good. It's the only city with such a huge water area, and the people are really connected to the water.
Mm-hmm.
Sportive.
Okay. Stylish.
Stylish, yeah.
Uh-huh.
People are really wealthy and do a lot of sports. You see a lot of people jogging around the Alster every morning.
Okay.
So this is a nice place to see locals running.
Okay.
And meet locals, maybe.
And only one more. What's your third one?
Modern.
Okay. Excellent. Now, Romy, your blog is in German, but if somebody can read German, where can they read more about your travel writing?
You can read me on every single social media channel and on snoopsmouse.de, and everything in social media is Snoopsmouse. So SNOOPSMAUS.
Excellent. And if we read German, what was the most interesting article you've written recently?
Recently, I published an article about Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia, Canada, with a lot of nice photos. It's like postcards in a blog post.
Excellent.
So if you like nice photos, come to my blog.
Thanks so much for coming on Amateur Traveler and sharing with us the love of your city.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I had an interesting email from the Sue family recently. They wrote and said, "Dear Chris, I have listened to about 50 of your episodes during the last 5 months, and it has been very enjoyable, educational, and helpful, especially as our family of 5, children ages 18, 15, and 13, are about to embark on a 1-year backpacking along the Silk Road, traversing about 20-plus countries starting in June of 2015. Sounds like quite an adventure, and as they get further along, maybe we'll have them on the show. But in any case, good luck and have fun." Jennifer has also been getting some use from Amateur Traveler. I just wanted to contact you and thank you for all the time and effort you put into the Amateur Traveler podcasts. My husband and I love to travel, and I came across the podcasts a couple years ago now. We live in Scotland and have used them to plan a number of our trips to Europe and to the U.S. Most recently, we celebrated my 40th birthday with a trip to Mumbai. We used Reality Tours Company mentioned in the recent podcast on Mumbai and had a truly fantastic experience. I really just wanted to contact you and thank you for all that you do to encourage you to keep going. Your work is much appreciated all the way over here in Scotland. Thanks, Jennifer, and I was encouraged by your email. It reminds me that July 2nd here of 2015 will be the 10-year anniversary of the Amateur Traveler. We've been helping people plan trips for almost 10 years. Currently, I don't have a special show plan, but I am hoping to have a special announcement. But I would love to hear your stories of how you've used the Amateur Traveler here over the last 10 years and where we have taken you. With that, we're going to end this episode of the Amateur Traveler. If you have any questions, send an email to host@amateurtraveler.com, or better yet, leave a comment on this episode at amateurtraveler.com. The transcript of this episode is sponsored by J-Way Travel, experts in Eastern European travel, and will go up on the site in about a month. You can find me on Twitter, Pinterest, or Instagram at Chris2X, and as always, thanks so much for listening.